How's it going, everyone? Doing a bit of a different video. It wasn't planned or scheduled. This was meant to be on the back burner a bit. It is a little bit more scripted than usual, so if the vibe's a little different, I'm normally a lot more freeform. I also just can't see a bunch of stuff because I don't have enough screens for this, which is not a problem I've run into before. Yeah, so let's just go over to my, God knows how long ago that I actually did this, but presentation. Basically, in a nutshell, we're going to be pairing fragrances to Yu-Gi-Oh decks. I'll get into that properly in the intro, though. So, every once in a while, I've kind of just felt the need to do a public service as part of the community. Today we're going to be looking at shaking that stereotype that TCG players carry a particular that we stink. We're going to be starting with Yu-Gi-Oh, surprising absolutely nobody. Now I know a little bit about fragrances and a little something about Yu-Gi-Oh, so I thought it'd be a good idea to pair the fragrances to decks much like you would the weather or an outfit or an event. So before we really get into it, I have to say this video has strangely been a labour of love. Seriously, the research for this funny haha Yu-Gi-Oh players smell bad meme has taken me through Fragrance YouTube, and I have never seen such a parade of Patrick Bateman clones. No, this list isn't so your wannabe waifu will need a wet floor sign. It's not so that you'll need to ensure that you're surrounded by reinforced flooring because undergarments will be dropping with the velocity of the actual juggernaut. Tom, the one from X-Men, yeah, that's the guy. The idea is tournaments are long, don't smell like ass, it's literally against the rules, a good antiperspirant will do the job nicely, but how about actually smelling good and doing a little more than the bare minimum? So let's get into it. KASHTIRA, Bleu de Chanel. This does have slightly acidic tones. It's a little bit more aggressive and assertive due to grapefruit notes, but you came here to slam your deck on the table and win. You don't care about being aggressive. It doesn't last long either, and let's face it, you're not scared of having to top up your fragrance, just like you're not scared of a ban list. Going into Sprite, Runic, and all its variants, I've opted for Versace Blue Jeans. Now, I'm not a fan of these decks, but I'm not going to do you dirty. While I am going to throw a little dig, just because this fragrance, a Versace fragrance, will cost you next to nothing. That's helpful because you're going to be sweating so hard with your degenerate ass deck. Seriously, fountain to non-thanks. That being said, and the jokes aside, the price to performance with this is an absolute powerhouse. It's well worth even a blind buy at the price we're looking at. Like, I think I saw it at like £16, so like, considering it's Versace. So moving on, looking at branded, I very much thought Sauvage by Dior. Like, what can you say about Sauvage? It's incredibly versatile. Any season, any occasion, anywhere. You will smell like everyone else, but let's be real, you're fine with that with the deck choice that you've already kind of gone with. Everyone's playing branded. This thing just hard forces itself into top cuts, and everyone wears Sauvage to the point of people are sick of it. You, no doubt, do not have a glass jar in that aspect, and you can kind of just take that, and I'm assuming you're fine with it. Let's have a look at Dragon Link. So, I've gone with Azario Wanted by Night. It's an old school style fragrance that performs with like the best modern scent right now. Dragon Link has adapted and stayed relevant in many formats. The fragrance has that like built into its DNA. Plant, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. Do you know what? We're just going to keep the mispronunciations in here because they're going to happen a lot. How intense. It had to be a summer fragrance, it had to be floral, and this is what I found. You're still getting ocean vibes, but buried in the notes, you will definitely find a marigold tying it all together. I mainly just went on the theme with this one, but I think it works out nicely. The Cyberse and MathMech at large at the moment. I've gone with Armaf Club de Nuit Intense for Man. The fragrance kicks in really hard but mellows out nicely. Some people will probably find the opening notes offensive, and that's kind of nothing new to MathMech with, you know, the circular lines, and generally people don't appreciate them too much. With both, I think if you stick with it, I'm kind of confident you'll learn to love it. Just a note that this is a Creed Aventus clone at a fraction of the price. We're buying cardboard, so we can't drop too much bank on a single scent. Unless you're an absolute baller, in which case, you know what, buy Aventus instead. Moving on to the more fun scents, and I'm thinking punk, lots of bright colours. So Paco Rabanne 1 million, this made big splashes quite a few years back. It's very unique, it's a party fragrance, definitely not something you wear to the office. It's got some of the best top notes that you'll ever find, but it does burn out after about 30 minutes and then kind of sweetens up. Punk players, yeah, it's kind of dying to a drawl in a fragrance. It doesn't have a lot of grind, but neither does the deck. We're used to it. And that is for pure punk, by the way. Onto pure gold pride. Paco Rabanne Invictus. It's fresh, it's fruity, it's sweet, it's very fun. And, you know, come on. The bottle's a trophy. How could it be anything else? Let's go for gold pride punk and just kind of the best of all worlds here. Versace Eros. It's loud, it's fun, it's playful, it's perfect if you like bright colours, going fast, and have a low attention span, which, you know what, I kind of think sums up the deck. Yeah, brilliant fragrance. Sword Soul. I went with Issey Miyake Pour Homme. Now, this is a fragrance I am intimately familiar with. I wore this for a good couple of years as my all-purpose fragrance. It just leaves you smelling clean, fresh, and inoffensive all day. Does that sound familiar? It's an absolute workhorse that won't let you down. Sword Soul very clearly does one thing, does it very well, and has plenty of staying power. Getting on to TEARLAMENTS. I went with Versace Dylan Blue. Now, it's not quite in the same league as Bleu de Chanel, but it's more fun. It's very versatile, and ironically, after Tears, Tier Zero Tyranny, say that 10 times fast, I think it's a lot of fun without gatekeeping the format. It would have been easy to throw a sea summer fragrance at Tier just because of the aquatic theme, but I couldn't resist the blue tie-in with KASHTIRA and how Dylan differs from Chanel. Moving on to MADOLCHE, I've gone for Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo. Uomo is the fragrance. With this one, the top note is literally tiramisu. Need I say more? It's a gourmand scent, which tends to mean edible scents. Think vanilla, caramel, cotton candy, chocolate, almonds, coffee, honey. It's a perfect fit for MADOLCHE. Don't worry though, there are tones that bring the scent back down to earth a little bit and even it out, so it's not just a bakery in your face. Under, I've gone for the only scent I thought really appropriate for it. John Vivatos Dark Rebel. This is wood, it's leather, tobacco, rum, sugarcane, and vanilla. Like, how does that not just scream pirate? It's a very masculine scent, which isn't for everyone, but I find it's perfectly on theme here. Moving on to Blackwing, which is an absolute classic, paired with Davidoff Cool Water. It's incredible price to performance proposition. It has great staying power and it'll keep you smelling great all day. It's also just a classic, which I have a feeling you would appreciate if you're into Blackwing. Just like the deck, the fragrance has stood the test of time and keeps hanging in there. Dino, much along the same lines. Hugo Boss bottled. It's extremely versatile and it's a classic. Dino can combo. They can OTK. They can play controller games, and this fragrance kind of just does it all as well. It does have problems sticking around upwards of 8 hours, but if you've ever lost your misc, you'll know how it feels getting a few turns in. The scent is a little outdated, which I feel like you can kind of get past and stick with. It's definitely a classic. Dogmatika Ritual, I've gone with YSL Koros. James from the team literally said it smells like a priest. I believe, if I've got it correct, that this is his scent of choice. And, you know, Dogmatika, boom, done. Religious connotations. But seriously, it's an acquired taste. It's a soapy barbershop scent that has some quite overpowering notes. It isn't for everyone. It's quite rugged. Definitely try before you buy and see how it sits on your skin over time. Marincess, I don't see how it could be any other scent. Nautica Voyage, it's fresh, it's clean, and it's good all year round. It only does one thing, but it's pretty good. Kind of reminiscent of the deck. It also has one of the best value propositions on the market, and the name really just suits the theme. We get onto Altergeist. This definitely is more of a meme than a recommendation. Altergeist, Lynx Africa. It served you, we won't say well, but it was there in high school. Now it's time to let go and move on. I can't see Africa making any kind of significant comeback. Altergeist, though. Let's wait and see. And wait, you didn't think I forgot you alternate formats, did you? Go. I'm gonna go with... my notes are switched around. Spoilers. It's fine, Tom. Keep it in. We were always going to trip up on this scripting stuff. Let's go with Edison first, then. Dior, Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit was incredibly unique on release. That feels very reminiscent of this one and done format that just happened over one event. It was super unique, super interesting, and has remained a fan favourite. It's out of date, and some arguably better performing clones have emerged, but it does have real heritage. It does give more of a mature vibe, definitely not a blind buy, but check it out. It's an absolute classic, and I'm guessing you appreciate the classics. Go. Old Spice, how could it be anything else? I'm kind of thinking like the image aside, because I just needed like images that filled the space and weren't just copy paste white space. Definitely the old white bottle with the drip applicator. Yeah, we can't forget the old timers in the room, myself included. And what's more vintage than Old Spice? Would I recommend it? Probably not. But there's really is something like nostalgic about the scent. It takes you back to times as a kid when other people would wear it, and I think that kind of ties in with Goat really nicely. So hopefully everything with my OBS ran nice and clean, because I couldn't see it throughout that, because that was a lot of information. Yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you think. If you want to see more of these, I can do more. There's more decks, there's tons more scents. If I have any amount of time instead of being on a crunch, yeah, this was fun and different, so I'm more than happy to do it again. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, hit the bell icons, and let's change the subject. I'm leaving and trying out a new sign-off, because, you know, probably edging off the swearing a little bit. Bye, everyone.